Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I'll show you how to assemble the peony from the Peony Dies, which has been bundled with the prize peony stamp set. This is the project we're making. It's using the new mini pumpkin paper boxes, which are food safe, and it can also fit in the note cards and envelopes. I've done one here just to show you, and because it's food safe, it's got that shiny area where you can put treats or something in it. There are 17 dies in the Peony Die set. There are 4 dies which actually make up the peony flower, and these, if you see, look at the bottom of the die, they are all sort of a certain curvature, and that's how you line the dies up. I'll just take them apart. So this is number 1, and that fits into number 2. You just slot it in and marry it up with the bottom of the second die, and then you fit this 2 into the third one and marry up the lines on that as well. And then lastly, this one, you put that in and you marry that up with the curvature down the bottom here. So that's how they all fit together to make the flower. So you start off with the smallest, then the second one up, third, and the largest is the fourth one. And then lastly you have the stamen, which is number 5. You have 3 dies which actually cut out the stamped images like so, and a pair of leaves which cut out those stamped images, and these leaves come in 2 parts. So you have the whole leaf, which is this larger one, and then you have 3 accent leaves to die cut in a darker colour, and those go on top. And then lastly there's a border die which cuts out this pretty pattern here. So there's 17 altogether. The mini pumpkin boxes comes in a pack with 10 boxes in it, and they're packed flat like that, and they come in white, and as you can see I've coloured this. Because it's food safe, it's shiny on one side and matte on the other, so the matte side is the outside. To assemble the box you need to punch out those bits in here so that you have 2 rectangular holes on either side. You fold these in. Okay, so fold that box in to form the rectangular box, and then fold that over, and here the tabs click into position where the slots are. You just do the same for this side. And just pinch it and it will go in. Okay, and then these tabs go inside the box. These 2 outer flats for the front of the box will tuck inside here, and there you have it. I'll set this aside while I run through the rest of the materials you need to make the belly band. So you need a piece of grey granite, 4 inches by an A4 length, which is 10 by 2 by the A4 length. That makes up your belly band base layer. 2 pieces of petal pink, both cut at 6 inches by 3.5 inches. In metric that's 8.9 by 15.2, and this is to die cut the scallop layer with that border die. Then for the top layer, this has been cut at 2.5 inches by an A4 length, which is 6.4 centimetres by the A4 length. Square vellum doilies. These are gorgeous, look. Isn't that lovely? Elegant faceted gems. You need to cut one each of the leaves in soft sea foam, and then one each of the accents in pear pizzazz. I've already pre-die cut that in order to save time, and then a flower centre in grey granite, which is this bit here, and of course some petal pink scrap to die cut your petals, which I've done here. Just a little tip: if you put these self-adhesive sheets on your cardstock before you die cut, then when it comes to gluing these accent pieces together, all you have to do is just peel it off and stick it on without making a mess. So I'll do that now so I won't lose the pieces. Grey granite and petal pink ink and sponge dauber, soft sea foam as well with a sponge dauber. A spritzer, I've filled it with rubbing alcohol, but you can use water, that will take longer to dry. And of course the petal pink re-inker. I've put about 16 drops in it this time. The last time I only used 10, but I think I got a bit heavy-handed with it. I'm going to bring in a colour catcher here because I'm filming and I don't want ink to get all over the place. So I've just put this on a baking tray and put tin foil around it so that it protect my work area. So give it a shake so that colours are all inside. I haven't worn any gloves, but I'll make sure that I wash my hands immediately afterwards. If you're working with rubbing alcohol, you really should work in a room that's well ventilated. I've already assembled the box so that I don't get the inside dirty. I'll start with the top. Make sure the nozzle is pointing away from me and give it a good spray. Then I'll set it aside to dry and I'll go and wash my hands. I'll be back. While I'm waiting for the mini paper pumpkin box to dry, I'm just going to sponge these. I'm also going to sponge the stamen in grey granite, and I'm going to use my stylus and just bend the petals back a little bit at the edges to soften it. So starting from the smallest, curl that as well. And set that into this second largest one. And I'm going to put a dimensional underneath there, marry it up together. As you can see, it will fit. Okay, and probably bend it a little bit. Insert that into the third one, marry it up with the bottom like so. Can you see that? Put another dimensional on, but this time put it on the side, so you don't have too much bulk in the middle. You might want to bend that forward a little bit. I think I might put a bit more. And then lastly, stick that in on that, marry it up again. And this time put a glue dot so it's not too bulky. Glue dot there. Set that aside, and hopefully the box will be dry now. And we start off with the widest grey granite piece from the front, and you want that flush with the bottom, okay, and bend it back. Make sure that's straight, the sides there are straight. Bend that back. I'm doing it this way so that I don't get a mismatch, because sometimes if you do it on the scoreboard it doesn't quite fit and then your creases are all skew-if. And you don't really want it too tight, because you want your sleeve to be able to move in and out quite easily. Long. So I'm just going to upend it and sort of make a mark there, and then I can cut it off with a trimmer, and I'll just be a little bit more generous and cut it off there. Glue. Now we need to die cut our borders, so I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll cut it deliberately the same size as the die, and you butt the die up right along the edge there and cut one side, then you do the same and cut the other side, and you repeat it for the other piece. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll let it overhang just a tad because you've got a second layer of cardstock. See, it won't quite fit, so you need to sort of stick that underneath and make sure that the scallops marry up with each other, and just glue it on. So what I'll do is I'll just put a bit of glue there, insert it, marry up the scallops. And bend that round as well. If you can't get the scallops to marry up, it's just to cut it off. Make sure you're cutting the right bit off. Just where the scallops are. So that's the back, that's the front. Apply your adhesive. I should have put some adhesive on the bottom here and I forgot, so let's do that. Slide it back in, make sure this is in the right place before you press it down and glue it. That's the front where you tuck the flaps in, and that's the back. So you want the nice bit showing and the join at the back. Last layer to go. I'm going to allow a bit of tolerance for the extra layers of cardstock, like so. Okay, so it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch, and then bend it round. Make sure that's in the middle. Next, put the doily on, so I'll just use a bit of adhesive in the middle here. And there's a right way and a wrong way. So pop that on. I'm also going to pop my rose up on dimensionals so that there will be room to put the leaves in. I've decided that I'd sponge the leaves as well. Then I can use glue dots to attach these leaves. Just tuck it underneath there, curl that leaf up a little bit, more glue dots. I'm going to turn this leaf round. I'm going to put it upside down, like so, and do the same with this, because I want this bit to show rather than the other bit. Secure the rest of the flower down to the project. And just a little finishing touch, I'll put one of these little gems down there to look as though they're dewdrops on the leaf. These mini paper pumpkin boxes are also great for note cards and envelopes in, not just for treats. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial and are inspired to make your own. Thanks for joining me today. The list of supplies are below this video in the Show More section, and you can also read more about it over on my blog at stampwithelaine.com.